Hi, welcome to the Birkbeck Futures Bitesize Careers series. My name is Anna and I am a career coach with Birkbeck Futures. Today's topic is letting your leadership potential shine. Some of the key takeaways from today's session are why leadership matters to your career. We'll look at some of the key skills and traits to develop to project leadership, and we'll look at how to showcase leadership in your job hunting. And finally, we'll look at executive presence, what it is, why it matters, and how to cultivate it. So what is a leader? At the highest levels, leaders help us collectively reach or work towards our goals, or their goals. And different leaders in different cultures will take different approaches to this. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting a group of people to follow your lead and accomplish something important. So I'd like to invite you to spend a few moments thinking about who the leaders are that inspire you, and what makes these leaders different. I'm sure every one of us can think of a handful of people who are able to connect with us in an inspiring and authentic way, either in person or remotely. You may have thought of a parent, a family member, a friend, a teacher, a politician, or a celebrity. Are you able to identify what the skills and traits are that these leaders possessed? Well, these are the things we're going to be looking at in the session. This session is not long enough to do a deep dive into leadership, so if you're interested in finding more resources to support you, have a look at the Careers portal, which you can access via your My Birkbeck profile. Leadership potential. Developing leadership skills is incredibly important for anyone, no matter what their responsibilities are and no matter what their job title is, because at some point in your career, you're going to be called upon to showcase these abilities. And there is a misconception that if you're not actually a manager, you can't show leadership. This is absolutely not true. Anyone can show leadership qualities and skills, no matter what their job title is. There are generally two schools of thought around leadership. Some people believe leaders are born, others believe that leadership skills can be learned and developed. Whatever you personally believe, we're going to be looking at some of the qualities a leader should be able to project and portray, and look at how you can go about developing and showcasing these leadership skills, no matter what your job role is. Why leadership matters. Effective and positive leadership skills help you become more confident, more creative, and more strategic in your decision making. So strong leadership is synonymous with high-performing organizations. So leadership and business really do go hand in hand. To achieve organizational goals, an organization needs leaders who can create and communicate a compelling vision which galvanizes and energizes their teams to achieve them. A leader's emotions are contagious, so a toxic or an incompetent leader can really negatively impact an organization, their productivity, their efficiency, and their brand. So leadership does matter, and you need to be able to project positive leadership traits. Self-leadership. Before you can lead anyone else, you need to be able to lead yourself, and this is called self-leadership. Self-leadership touches on things like self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-regulation, self-growth, and self-care. So what does this mean? It means having high levels of self-awareness and clarity around what motivates you in terms of your goals and aspirations. It means living your values, having a growth mindset, and strong emotional intelligence. It means being able to model positive behaviors for your team so that you can bring them psychological safety in times of crisis. It means being self-reflective. It means taking responsibility and being accountable. And it means finding out what it is that you bring to the table that is unique to you. So it's all about motivating, coaching, and leading yourself to be the best version of you. And also being open to measuring yourself along your leadership journey and being open to feedback. What's your leadership style? There are many leadership styles, frameworks, and models, and knowing which one suits you best is part of being an effective leader. So it's important to think about developing your own signature style, but leaving yourself room to pivot and stretch into different styles as the situation and context need you to, and this will make you much more effective as a leader. Here I've listed some of the more well-known leadership styles, and it's important to start raising your awareness of these so that you are familiar with them and can work out which ones work best for given situations for you. If you're interested in developing or raising awareness of what your dominant style is, you can speak to friends or colleagues whose opinion you trust and value in what they see your strengths are in your leadership style. And there are a variety of leadership assessments that you can take as well. So what are the skills that you need to be developing to let your leadership potential shine through? Developing leadership skills can give you the opportunity to achieve your professional goals, to become more involved in interesting and impactful projects, and to take on more strategic roles in your organization. And employers who are looking to hire people for leadership roles are looking for a combination of two things: hard skills and soft skills. The hard skills are the qualifications and technical know-how. Skills are the key employability skills, the more intangible skills that are really like a glue that holds everything else together. Key leadership skills and traits. Here are some key leadership skills and traits. Emotional intelligence is one of the most important skills that you can have as a leader. And so it's important that you are aware of what your emotional intelligence is like and develop it where it needs to be developed. Strong leaders are always good communicators. They have vision, passion, and confidence. They are creative and innovative. They are change catalysts. They're able to manage change and sometimes initiate it. They are not afraid to make decisions. They're transparent and accountable and show up as they are. They like developing people. They are strategic thinkers. They have a positive attitude. Failure is not their undertaker, but their teacher, which makes them more self-motivated and resilient. They have a growth mindset. They have integrity. They mentor others, and they look for mentorship for themselves. They're curious and they're agile. These are all skills and qualities that you can develop in yourself to show your leadership potential. Toxic leadership traits. Here are some leadership traits that are not so welcome, that can be quite toxic in a team or an organization. If you do recognize any of these in yourself, there are things that you can do to work on them. So, for example, if you're someone who finds it difficult to deal with conflict, you can work on building your conflict resolution skills. If you find it difficult to handle failure, you can work on changing your perspective about what failure actually means and how it impacts you. If we unpack fear of change, what is behind it are often other fears, such as fear of risk, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. And there are ways to manage your fear so that you can adjust and thrive in the new. Leadership is all about impact. When it comes to job hunting, leadership is all about impact. So it's important that whether it's in your CV, your cover letter, personal statement, application, interview, that you absolutely make clear your benefit so that you can showcase your leadership potential. It doesn't matter whether you are entry level, just starting out, or whether you're someone who's actually already working in a leadership role. You need to make your benefit clear. You can use dynamic power words. You can quantify and qualify as much as you can and put context to things. It's important that you identify your career narrative so that going into this leadership role makes perfect sense. So mention some leadership-related accomplishments from previous roles, from your academic study, or from your personal life. And ask yourself 3 questions. How did I do it? What did I do? And what was the benefit or impact? If you're looking for support in being able to write really effective achievements, the Careers Portal, on the Careers Portal you will find tutorials and videos to support you. And there is an acronym that you can use called FAB, Feature, Action, Benefit. Feature is the way you did something, so creatively, efficiently. A is the action you took, and B is the benefit, the impact of what you did. Examples of power words. Here are some examples of power words in action. Verbs in the past tense, and you can see how they can be used to showcase various kinds of leadership qualities and skills. These will really bring your leadership potential and achievements to life. On the Careers Portal, there is a positive action words database that you can use to help you write achievements. Adopt a leadership mentality. It's really important to adopt a leadership mentality, and this means actively seeking out opportunities for you to lead so that you can build these skills. So, for example, you could lead a project, or you could bring one to life. You could save the company time or money. You can change or improve something. You could manage a group of people. You can show that you have a collaborative mindset by bringing in partners, funding, and resources. You can show that you have a growth mindset. Develop your public speaking skills. You can communicate clearly in everything that you do. And you can advocate for something or someone. You can mentor someone, or you can seek out mentors for yourself. Interviews. If you're going for a leadership role, it's vital that in the interview you sound like a leader, you look like a leader, and you strategize like a leader. So the tone of your voice and your body language is going to be very important. Be aware of your posture. Make sure that you maintain eye contact for as far as comfortable, and showcase your enthusiasm and passion for the role. It goes without saying that first impressions are always very sticky, so make sure that you turn up well groomed, looking like a leader. And in the interview, focus on the employer's needs. You will have done your due diligence before the interview, so that in your answers you can show how you would address the kinds of issues, the management issues, the leadership issues that they are experiencing and hiring for. So get a sense of what their organizational structure is, what the company culture is like, what their mission statement is, what they have celebrated, and what are the challenges they're facing and hiring for. Really understand what the pain point is for that employer, and prepare a list of compelling questions to show that you've thought very deeply about the value that you can bring to this team. State everything quantitatively or qualitatively. Put context to the examples that you give. Demonstrate that you have an ability to act decisively. Speak calmly and confidently, but also showcase your passion. If you've been in previous leadership roles, when you're given your examples, you could also acknowledge the contribution of your team. And always be sure to reference the leadership skills and qualities in the person spec that you can evidence. Here are some examples of the kinds of questions you could expect in terms of leadership experience, management styles, confidence, persuasiveness, emotional intelligence, and career goals. On the Careers Portal, you have access to the interview simulator, and one of the things you can do there is research the most commonly asked interview questions and get advice from recruiters in written form, audio, and video. So I'd recommend that if you haven't used it before, that you access the Careers Portal, because practice makes perfect. The more confident you feel about being able to answer questions, the better your interview performance. Assessment centres. Assessment centres are generally the last part of the recruitment process. And on the Careers Portal, you have access to the Assessment Centre tool, which goes into much more detail about the different elements of an assessment centre and gives you examples for particular companies and how they assess candidates in their centres. So When you are in an assessment centre or doing any kind of behavioural assessment, role play, group task, bear in mind that they're looking for positive leadership traits and strong emotional intelligence in how you interact with other people. So these are definitely worth practicing as well on the careers portal. Executive presence. Executive presence is not about being in a position of power or authority. It's about learning to lead with character and dignity. It encompasses things like your style, the first impressions you make, your substance, your social presence, gravitas, and your character, the things that define you, your personal traits and attributes. It's often a term that's shrouded in mystery, and sometimes people struggle to understand exactly what it is. One thing I can tell you is that it's absolutely critical to your career success, and it's an integral part of your personal brand. So it's something that you can cultivate and build, and I'm going to try and demystify it for you. In the simplest terms, it's really about your ability to inspire confidence in others, whether it's the team of people you work with, or whether it's more senior leaders. How your executive presence is perceived by others is really going to determine what kind of access you get to opportunities. People say that your personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Your executive presence is very similar, because all the really important decisions about you are going to be made when you're not in the room. But your executive presence and your personal brand will be representing you. So it's really critical to know what it's saying about you and how other people perceive it in terms of what you want to achieve personally and professionally. Part of executive presence is gravitas, and this is the sense of weightiness in a character. And we're going to look about how you can cultivate gravitas. It's all about slowing down. People who have strong executive presence and gravitas appear much more thoughtful. They're much more deliberate in how they act. They're very specific and precise in what they say. They're very embodied. They take up space. They stand and sit tall. This doesn't mean they have to be tall, but they reach their full height. They take up their space. Their voice is measured and resonant. You do not have to have the loudest voice to have gravitas. They feel comfortable and are able to relax into silences. And they can use pause for emphasis when they talk. They use breath to stay grounded and centered, so breathe slowly and deep. They listen intently to understand, not to respond. They hold eye contact as far as comfortable, and this helps build rapport and makes the other person feel acknowledged. They use a command inflection when they talk, and by that I don't mean they go around barking orders at people, but that when they finish a sentence, they finish it on a downward inflection, not an upward one, which really conveys a kind of questioning impression. They also use their voice to convey confidence. These are all things that you can start practicing and just be very aware of, because they will help you come across as much more measured. These are things that will definitely help you build your executive presence. So pulling it all together. Pulling everything together that we've spoken about, we've looked at why leadership matters to your career. We've looked at some of the key skills and traits that you can develop to be able to project and showcase leadership. In terms of job hunting, we've looked at how leadership potential is all about showing the impact that you've had. And we've looked at executive presence, which at its most basic is about inspiring confidence. So I'd like to leave you with this thought. Never let your job title be a barrier to you fulfilling your leadership potential.